So here's the $1 million question. So phase two. So kind of, what do you have on the docket for phase two, and share a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I'm not going to say is this. I'm not going to say, gosh, the LMS is going to be used exclusively to replace all of our learning and development specialists, and we're going to do away with the traditional classroom type training. And I'm not going to say that whatsoever. We're going to be running the LMS in parallel with our traditional type training, utilizing a hybrid approach. For example, I believe that LMS is a wonderful tool, but one size does not fit all. It's only as good as the tailoring and the specificity you do on the front end. In addition to that, the LMS is a great platform, again, for really regulating, controlling content exposure. But when it comes to sales training, when it comes to communication, advanced communications types training, you can't use it exclusively. You can use it to kind of edify a classroom type approach that uses workshops and uses the interactive type, with emphasis from a trainer and role playing and simulations and things of that nature. In fact, we plan on building many simulations into the LMS as well, using that really exciting kind of a multimedia type approach, which the system has the provision to do. But what's next? What's next right now is that everybody in our system since inception has been acquiring and accumulating badges. Learning credentials, basically. So that whole credentialing process is going to continue, so that people can, by virtue of exposure to a number of different types of learning instances, not only information that's coming to them via the LMS courses per se, but the idea is that as and when we develop courses that are outside of the LMS, that they will get a credential for that, which will become part of the historical record within the LMS and dovetail very nicely with perhaps some foundational information that they've been exposed to by virtue of an LMS module. In addition to that, if we have any workshops, or if we have any lectures, or even if we have any coaching opportunities, we have plans, for example, to utilize QR codes or barcode scanners, so that we can create an enrollment code within the LMS. And then all of those learning instances that take place outside of the LMS will be, by virtue of our employee ID badges, post-learning instance, scanned into the LMS. The enrollment code will match up with the QR code and the scan code, and then that entire experience, that learner experience, will become part of their historical record of learning. So rather like a tin can API approach, if you will. So the way I envisage it is that if we want well-rounded individuals, which we do, it's not just based on traditional learning. It's not just based on book learning. It's not based on primarily PowerPoint presentations. It may be about a conversation that they have on a particular topic. It may be the fact that they had a unique experience, for example, that they went to a lecture, and some of the great minds of the world actually, shared with them something that is priceless. Well, let's create a learning instance for that, and let's make sure that gets scanned in and becomes part of that historical record. And again, in a very synergistic way, dovetails into that story, of their entire learning experience, not only for their duration with us as an organization, but also eventually that those credentials, those badges, could be migratable to like a LinkedIn or some of the other multimedia platforms, that are primarily career focused, so that they can distinguish themselves by virtue of their receptiveness to learning and the desire to learn more. And if we can do that, then what we've done is we've established a credential. We've kind of put our brand, if you will, on the fact that an individual, for the duration that they were with us, were able to develop themselves, not only through official training, or training that was developed primarily for their functional role, but also for everything else that they accumulated and assimilated by virtue of the fact that they were within our culture. So we want to reward them for that. We want to recognize them for that, and hopefully they would choose to stay with us. Obviously, that's why we have the career pathing aspect interwoven with the LMS deployment. But ultimately, I see a world whereby everybody will be able to accumulate credits, if you will, for every learning experience that they have, and by doing that, they become the difference that makes the difference, and they stand out from the masses.